My name is Renata Poulton Kamakura. I am a third-year PhD student in ecology at the Nicholas School, and I study urban trees. I'm interested in what kind of green space opportunities do we have and how can we be thoughtful about designing. What does that mean for the equity in green space access and the quality of benefits and general environment that people have to live in? Duke prides itself on being a campus in a forest, and a big part of that is Duke Forest, obviously. But the trees on campus are also really important. We're not talking about 10, 20, 30 trees. There's close to 17, if not more than 17,000 trees on Duke's campus.
Renata and I have been working with an environmental class to determine some of the things that the trees do for us as far as energy, carbon sequestration.
What are the trees on our campus doing for us besides looking very nice and complementing the buildings, which is important, but how much stormwater are they helping mitigate? How much shade are they providing? All of these kinds of things that it's hard for us to quantify.
We took a small sampling of some of the trees on campus so that the students could see how to measure the height, how to measure the caliper.
Specifically the chlorophyll measurements.
How to actually put them into our inventory.
Roger worked with various students upwards of a decade ago to actually map the trees on campus, and they've continued to do that, and that helps substantially. There's also other things that you may not be able to tell from just looking at remote sensing data. With that, I think there's a lot of benefit to walking and actually seeing the trees in person. There are species that are really difficult to tell apart. Literally an oak called the white oak, and then there's the group of white oaks. And so we can walk around and we can see the very specific growing conditions that the tree is dealing with and how might that impact its health. Trees provide a range of benefits. Certainly they provide habitat for a range of species. In places where it's very hot and you have high urban heat island effects, you can have the shade from trees actually cool down your city a little bit.
Trees also filter the water. They're the first filter as the rain comes down. They filter our air for us. We work with the students to give them an overall appreciation of what we do for trees and what trees do for us.
When I work with undergraduates in particular, it's really important to make sure that they're getting what they want and or need out of the project. Like, okay, what skills do you want to develop? How do we get you access within this project to some of those opportunities?
Carbon sequestration is worth about $71.70 a year.
Just for those 10 trees?
Yeah.
I think something we found is that there's not enough time in the day to ask all the kinds of questions that we're interested in. So I think the real opportunity of working with these students is being able to ask slightly different questions than we would have considered.
And that was just with 9 trees.
Trees have been here longer than we have and will be here a lot longer than some of us. They're as much a part of the history, I think, of Duke as the buildings are. If they could talk, they would probably tell a million secrets.